British soldier escaped prison. Like a spy. He was a soldier. He was a spy. And he nearly vanished into thin air. Suddenly, a single gunshot echoes through the prison corridors. A guard shouts, footsteps thunder, flashlights slice through darkness. June 2023, London, UK. Inside one of Britain's most secure prisons, a man plans an escape that could change national security forever. Meet Daniel Khalife. Once a young British soldier with a promising future, now sentenced to 14 years behind. Bars for espionage and one of the boldest prison escapes in UK history. Khalife's escape wasn't just a personal act of defiance. It was a wake-up call to the UK prison system. Daniel Khalife arrived in Britain with a dream and a past he never fully explained. We meet Khalife not as a villain, but as a mystery. A charismatic, intelligent young man born in Lebanon, raised in the UK, fluent in multiple languages, and drawn to the military like a moth to flame. Khalife joined the British Army at a young age but later betrayed his country by passing sensitive military information to Iranian authorities. This included classified details about Special Forces soldiers, putting lives at risk and jeopardizing national security. Khalife served in the British Army, stationed at MOD Stafford. But beneath the uniform lay a double life. Former Army colleague, he was smart, always reading. Quiet but intense. You could tell he had something burning inside him. This soldier who knew too much Khalife joins the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, REME, where he is trained in classified communication systems, equipment used by British forces in combat zones. Intelligence analyst, this wasn't just basic training. He had access to real-time battlefield comms. If that data got out, it could cost lives. But behind closed doors, Khalife begins to change. Late-night messages, secret meetings, encrypted chats with unknown contacts. His online behavior grows darker. I want to help your cause, he writes. I have access to sensitive information. The traitor within the betrayal Khalife starts sending fragments of classified material to what he believes are Iranian intelligence handlers. In reality, some of these contacts are British counterintelligence agents running a sting operation, MI5 source, blurred face, voice distorted. He thought he was talking to spies. We knew exactly who he was from day one. Tension builds as Khalife becomes more reckless. He sends increasingly detailed technical specs. He even sketches diagrams of encrypted communication systems used in active deployments. Prosecutor, this was not a misunderstanding. This was a deliberate act of treason. Arrest and remand. Khalife is arrested in June 2023. Taken to Wandsworth Prison, he's placed under high surveillance. But he's not done yet. He was accused of gathering classified information that could be useful to Iran, a state known for its hostile stance against the West. Arrested and awaiting trial, Khalife pulled off a movie-like escape from Wandsworth Prison, hiding beneath a food delivery van using straps and clips. Daniel Khalife, a former British soldier, orchestrated a daring escape from HM Prison Wandsworth on September 6, 2023, by exploiting his position in the prison kitchen and utilizing makeshift equipment to conceal himself beneath a delivery van. Preparation and execution of the escape. The prison officer said he was polite. Too polite, like he was calculating every word. The Great Escape. Blueprint for freedom. Inside his cell, Khalife begins crafting a plan, one that combines military discipline, psychological manipulation, and cold calculation. He had been trained to survive in hostile environments. Now he would use those skills against the very system that created him. Using smuggled paper, he drafts an escape plan so intricate it reads like a mission report. He identifies vulnerabilities in prison staffing, meal times, medical transport protocols, fake injury, hospital transfer, disguise, van, freedom. He tries to bribe guards with promises of money and secrets. He tests their loyalties. One officer reports him. Another ignores the signs. Countdown to escape in a nail-biting sequence. The film reconstructs the final hours before the escape attempt. Khalife swallows a razor blade, triggering a medical emergency. Paramedics are called. The van arrives. But something is off. Cut to surveillance footage. Guards rush in. Khalife is restrained mid-transfer. It almost worked. The fall and the fallout trial and sentence. Khalife pleads guilty to 3 counts under the Official Secrets Act, plus planning to escape lawful custody. He is sentenced to 14 years in prison, with a minimum of 10 served. Judge, you were given trust, opportunity, and citizenship. You repaid it with betrayal. The psychological puzzle psychologists dissect Khalife's mindset. Was he radicalized, mentally ill, opportunistic, or all 3? Forensic psychologist. He saw himself as a warrior, not a criminal. He believed he was serving a higher cause, even if it meant destroying the country that gave him everything. One small object, one big idea, and a mind that nearly slipped through the cracks of the nation it betrayed. Some enemies don't come from abroad. Some are made here. Khalife entering the prison. He wore the uniform, but fought for another flag. While working in the prison kitchen, Khalife crafted a makeshift sling using kitchen trousers and carabiners. On September 1st, he tested this setup by attaching it to the underside of a bid food delivery lorry, noting that it went unnoticed during routine checks. On September 1st, 2023, he ran a test. Using straps, believed to be from kitchen trousers, and carabiner-style clips, he attached a makeshift sling to the bottom of one of the vans. It went undetected. That success gave him all the confidence he needed. 5 days later, dressed in his chef's uniform, he secured himself under the same lorry using the sling, positioning himself between the chassis rails. The lorry departed the prison at 7:32 a.m., and Khalife remained hidden beneath it as it passed through security checks. After the lorry stopped at a traffic light less than a mile from the prison, Khalife detached himself and walked away calmly. He then embarked on a 3-day evasion of authorities, during which he changed his appearance, stole clothing, and used cash for purchases to avoid detection. It sounds like something out of a Hollywood movie, but it really happened, and it exposed deep cracks in the UK prison system. Let's get into it. There are a number of questions about Khalife's jailbreak. How did a high-profile suspect like Khalife manage to plan this without anyone noticing? Khalife was working in the prison kitchen, which gave him access to delivery schedules and materials. He tested his method by using straps and clips, likely fashioned from kitchen clothing, to see if he could cling beneath a food delivery van. That test went undetected, which emboldened him to carry out the real escape days later. Walk us through the escape itself. On the morning of September 6th, Khalife put his plan into action, 2023. Khalife secured himself beneath a bid food delivery van using a makeshift sling. The van passed through the prison's vehicle checks, astonishingly, without a thorough underside inspection. Just a mile from the prison, he detached himself and vanished. This raises huge concerns. What went wrong inside Wandsworth? Multiple failures. First, staff shortages may have led to lax inspections. Second, the prison's categorization system failed. Khalife, charged with serious terrorism offenses, was in a Category B prison instead of high-security Category A. That's a major oversight. How was he able to strap himself underneath the food delivery van? Why did routine vehicle checks fail to detect Khalife? Were standard vehicle inspections skipped or poorly conducted? Was there a failure in CCTV coverage or monitoring? Were staff shortages or lack of training factors in the lapse? The manhunt, police roadblocks, helicopters, the massive manhunt. For 4 days, the UK was on edge. A national manhunt was launched. The escape triggered a full-scale national manhunt. Airports ramped up security. Border forces were put on high alert. Khalife, however, had gone dark. He traveled by foot, train, and bike. He avoided digital footprints. He paid in cash, changed his appearance, and stayed off the grid. Finally, on September 9th, a sharp-eyed plainclothes officer spotted him cycling down a canal path in West London. He was tackled and arrested on the spot. He was eventually apprehended by plainclothes officers in Southall on September 9th. Who was pulling the strings behind Khalife? Why Iran? And what secrets did he try to steal? At sentencing, Justice Bobby Chimagrub described Khalife as a dangerous fool whose actions posed a serious threat to national security. The case highlighted vulnerabilities in the UK's handling of sensitive information and prison security. But where is he now? He was sentenced in February 2025 to 14 years and 3 months in prison for espionage and escaping from custody. He is currently incarcerated at HMP Belmarsh, a high-security prison in southeast London. Subscribe for more real-life spy stories and political mysteries. This is just the beginning. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe, rate, and share. We'll be back next week with another mind-blowing true escape. Until then, stay sharp and stay free.